I can't even explain the from the beginning, from our first introduction to that first call, where it was just kind of filling out what this process would be, to the follow-up call that you provided. It's just been a phenomenal journey, and it's appreciated. It's highly appreciated.
I would love for you to share, Dionna, and thank you for that so much, for your kind words. I would love for you to share who you are and what you do with this audience.
Absolutely. So my name is Dionna Rojas, and I wear many hats, but what specifically I connected with you to help me with was I launched my own business this year, Safe Space Communications. And the idea was what you really did was help me flesh out. I thought I knew what I wanted to do, and I thought I had a decent platform, but you really helped me find the core of my story in order for me to have a better reach. And so what I do is, the heart of who I am is family. Everything about me ties back to family and just lived experience. So what I do is I'm a family coach, but I also train. And my thought was, how can I bring women together from different backgrounds, different belief systems, but how can I bring them together to begin to have some intimate conversations and begin to do the tough work of how do we restore our communities, especially given the climate of today with so many people that seem angry, tense, anxious, upset, hurt. We're the heartbeat of our communities, and how can we begin to help repair that and move things forward in a more positive way? And so I thought we needed a safe space to do that. We need to have safe spaces. And so that's where the name of the company came from, is because I want to create opportunities for women to have those safe space discussions.
So tell me, where were you before we started working together? And then in the 8 to 10 weeks that we worked together, where are you now? She's now wrapped up the masterclass. So where were you before, when you first signed up, and where are you now?
So before I would dabble a little bit. I had spoke at a couple of different retreats, different people who would know me. I am a group facilitator just in training professionally. I've worked in nonprofit over 20 years. So I've had an opportunity to have small group audiences, but I never really had a story crafted. And so when we connected, I was at ground zero. I knew I needed, I was already working with someone as far as marketing, and they did a phenomenal job. But I knew that this niche was a little bit different. Speaking is a little bit different. It's not like you're selling a product. You are really sharing you and what you're hoping to provide for someone else. That is not necessarily a tangible giving away. It's more of a feeling or an opportunity to be motivated towards change. And so that's different in how you would present that to an audience. And so you helped me, first work on me, so that I could clearly identify what were the messages, what were the main points I wanted people to, when they walked away, what did I want to provide for them as they're finding out things for themselves. And so you just really worked and were very patiently working with me to kind of exercise those muscles in my thought process, because a lot of what we do, it takes a lot of preparation in the thought process before you can even put it to paper. So you really gave me opportunity to really kind of dive a little deeper than I had been. A lot of my work initially was very superficial, just from training, from my profession. I would do what I knew to do as a helper, but this was a little bit different. I had to go a little deeper, and you helped me dig up and kind of show some jewels that I didn't even really realize the connection. And you helped me find the connection in my story. I had wanted to be an entrepreneur for so long, and I thought, I'm a Jill of many trades. I've done a lot of everything. But you helped me find the connection in each thing that I did. So it wasn't just like a frivolous delving into different things at different times, I actually really did. What I went through, what I experienced had purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so how can I talk to people about purpose and bring people together if I didn't understand my purpose? And you helped me do that.
Yeah, and your journey, right? You've had so
Yeah.
many cool, different, varied life experiences that have brought you to this huge moment where
Yeah.
you're now this awesome trainer and speaking and being called to speak and being called to consult. So I loved helping you just figure out what pieces of your story really resonate with your audience as we
Yeah.
discovered who your audience really is.
Right, right.
Right? That was one of the things. So, one of the things that I remembered you saying, Dionna, somewhere in maybe week 5 or week 6 is something like, I don't think I've ever known my story to this extent before. I've never gone into my story this way. What made
Yeah.
you say that?
Again, going back to being a very veiled, superficial sharing of what my experience was. So, for an example, having a diagnosis of MS, very general, I wouldn't go too deep, but you actually work with people to go deeper, so that they actually make a genuine connection with their audience, and how to make that connection without trying to oversell yourself with your experience, but a genuine connection, and where you're not so guarded that people are trying to figure out what exactly you're saying to them. This was the first time I actually found that balance. And so that was very much so appreciated. And it was hard. It was a lot of hard work, because I would do my veiled response and you would say, okay, well, let's look a little bit deeper. And you would ask more questions. And I
Yeah.
would say, Bofta, you're kicking my butt. But it really came out that I have a very, very wonderful story. And so I'm excited about
What surprised you the most, Dionna, working with me?
it. What surprised me the most is that you have the ability to, one, just you coach with such humility that a person doesn't feel awkward, or you don't feel like given the fact that your credentials, someone like me may feel like, well, how could she even help me? I'm just starting off, but that never was a play into any of our interactions. And even with the when we did the workshop, and it was a face-to-face,
Mm-hmm.
just you felt it was very natural, very comfortable, and that was very much so appreciated. So you were able to get your coaching, mentoring, everything all in one. At the same time, you can feel the encouraging part of it, and it never felt like it was a check off. Like, okay, we finished this task, let's go to the next. You genuinely let the person work at their pace and find themselves, and that's what I felt was very it was very helpful, because when you're trying to figure out what you want and what you're trying to do, sometimes too many voices can cause more confusion. And you allowed me my process and how I think things through. You allowed me to do that, and it was definitely appreciated. But you will work a person. I will. Yes,
I will work someone.
yes,
That's
you
true.
will. Yeah.
I remembered we had a couple conversations before you signed up. What finally made you say, you know what, I've got to do this, or I will either be spinning my head, wasting time? What made you say, okay, now's the time?
Two things made me say now's the time. One was, always knew I wanted to share, and I always knew I wanted to encourage. I just never knew how, or what, in what way was I going to, what path was I going to lead to. And in talking to you, when you were asking me about my story, I'm hearing myself tell the story, and I'm thinking, I know there has to be other people that have experienced this. And there's, not every book on the shelf, every self-help book reaches every audience. And I thought I need to be more open and using the talents and the gifts that have been given to me. I need to figure out a way to use those things. And so when I spoke to you, your encouragement was helpful. And it was a sense of non-judgment, and it wasn't pushed. So you didn't say to me, well, why haven't you done this already? You know, I didn't feel that. I didn't feel like you need to do this. It was kind of, did you ever think about this way? Well, what do you think about that? And it gave me time to kind of process, yeah, what about that? Let me see, let me explore that. And you gave me space to figure it out, and you checked back in with me. And I honestly think if you hadn't checked back in, I don't know if I would have got back to you, but you checking into me, I was ready, but I needed someone to say, here, I'll walk you through it. And you did that for me.
Awesome. Do you now see how comfortable you are with sharing your story and how that relates to you as this, bona fide speaker?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I the one thing you said, I remember one of the biggest struggles, because I had school on the table and I had this and family life, and you said to me, you said, Dionna, who said you had to do this or do that, or why, or who said you had to do it this way or that way? Just do it the way you need to do it for you. And sometimes it's good to have someone give you permission, even though you take it on your own to walk through some things. Not give permission, but it's sometimes good to hear someone validate that you should give yourself permission to say, you know what, I'm gonna do it like this. I'm not gonna do it this way. You know, as women, we often want to please our families that are around us. We want to kind of be perfect in all the different roles we wear. And sometimes with helpers, we're the hardest people to accept help. And so you made it very easy to accept help. And so that has been, I mean, I've talked to everybody about you. So that has, I've been singing praises about,
Thank you.
The path we've taken, because it really, the end result was this story, but more importantly, it was the confidence I built. You started with working on me so that I can figure out those parts that I needed to share in my story. And so, just your whole way of how you do things, I can't say it enough. It was very, you were firm when you needed to be, and you gave me space to grow. So that was helpful.
Thank you. No, I'm so glad that you took the leap and that you signed up for the masterclass, and that, everything that Dionna is saying, these are things that Dionna and I haven't had a chance, of been traveling to get together to really get her feedback. But this is something that I look for always, is trying to get feedback. What did somebody like? We went through several phases of the masterclass together, everything from confidence to building the story to ways to get the audience's attention and speaking on stages, and how to get on podcasts and also get more speaking opportunities, the conference template. I mean, there's a ton of content packed in the masterclass. So when she's talking about work, there's work, right? That's how we get good. You've got to learn the different tools and the techniques. And Dionna is one of those people that really just took the leap. You said yes, and then you did the work. So my last question, and I promise this is the last one, because Deonna's a busy mother and wife and got a ton going on. So Dionna, if someone is on the fence to work with me, to sign up for the masterclass, whatever it might be, what would you tell them if they are watching right now?
I would ask a question. What is your future worth to you? Like, what is your future worth? Is it, if you're going into the masterclass, most times you're either already a business owner or you're thinking about launching into something, and really start thinking about what is valuable to you. Are you worth it? Is the treasure that you have inside of you worth sharing with others? Is it worth it? If you have yes, if yes is your answer, there's no reason to be on the fence. This is an opportunity to work with someone who's definitely full of knowledge about speaking, full of knowledge about preparation for speakers. And there's not a cookie cutter way for anyone to present or speak, but Bofta is very good at helping find your voice. And that's what's most important. We all have a voice. And so I would say if you're on the fence, you need to get off of the fence and just take a chance on yourself, and know that the environment's a safe environment. I don't typically vouch in a public way for someone, but I will vouch for my experience. It has been a very positive experience, and it's a very nurturing experience. And especially if you're a novice or kind of mid-level speaker, you don't want to just go it alone on your own. You want to make sure that what you're presenting to the audience that you're sharing with, that is quality. So you want to make sure you have a quality coach. So get off the fence.
Thank you, Dionna. Thank you so much. No, I appreciate that sincerely. I appreciate that. I know we're going to stay connected as you go through your journey. I'm excited for you. And you've got, a couple of speaker opportunities coming up, right?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I get my second go around for the one speaking event I did in the fall. So I'll have something in spring with them. So yeah, so I'm excited.
There you go. The momentum. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you again, Dionna, for your time tonight. I'll let you go. And everyone on Facebook, we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.